guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Eliana and I'm a success and transformation coach. Here with me today I've got Dr. Paul Penn. Hi, welcome. A psychologist and also my husband. Today's topic is on happiness. Happiness means different things to different people, like having a successful network of people around you, or good health, or the freedom to pursue your dreams, right?
Or happy wife, happy life.
I like that, definitely. Training well, ladies. Right, happiness. I remember actually a snippet from Sex and the City, and Charlotte was asked if she was happy, and she said, yes, I'm happy every day. Maybe not all day, every day, but certainly every day. And I thought, what a great way to actually look at it. So today we'll share with you 5 tips on how to become happier. Tip number 1, aim high by setting goals that are purposeful and give you a sense of meaning. Recently I read from Dr. Jonathan Friedman, a psychologist, that actually claimed people that set objective or goals that are either short-term or long-term seem to be happier. Goals give us meaning, a sense of direction and purpose, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But you have to remember that for goals to be meaningful, it's really important not just to focus on the goal, because we've all probably got personal goals like I want to get fit, or I want to earn, X amount of £1,000 a year, or whatever else. But it's how you achieve those goals that's important, and that's where people often fall short. What's a goal that could bring you happiness can quickly turn into a source of unhappiness if you're not going about trying to achieve it effectively, because then you're just going to get frustrated and you're probably going to abandon the goal thinking it's not attainable. So the things we talked about before in the video about procrastination, where we said, implementation intentions. So give yourself very explicit cues and responses to those cues as a way of kind of formulating how you're going to achieve the goal. So an example with our gym scenario could be, if it's Monday at 7 a.m, then I will go to the gym for an hour. The idea is obviously that you're not just focusing on the goal or the objective, you're focusing on the things that you need to do to achieve that goal. And that's what gives your life a lot of the meaning that you kind of referred to, and will hopefully lead to outcomes that will be happier.
Tip number 2. Set yourself a self-care ritual. Things like unplugging from your phone, run yourself a nice long bath, read a magazine, listen to some music, whatever you need to take a couple of hours for yourself a week so you can have something to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely. I think particularly the social media point is very salient, because we are social creatures and we've suddenly got this resource online where we can, compare our lives to other people's lives. And that will be all well and good if people were presenting themselves warts and all and admitting to what was going wrong with their lives. But obviously, no one ever puts up a post that says, my children are behaving like brats, I burned the dinner, the holiday's been cancelled. They only put, the pictures of themselves in the Caribbean,
where they... are angels.
Exactly, the children are really behaving themselves, they've just had a Michelin-style meal, whatever else. And if you're really exposing yourself to those kind of things, it gives you a very unrealistic idea of how your life should be, and your life can look quite poor in comparison, when in point of fact it's not. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing, again, when you look at self-care, the world may be going to pot around you and there might not be a huge amount you can do about it at times, but one thing you always have control over is how you treat yourself. So it's really important to kind of maximise that. So if you have a particular, routine, like you always want 8 hours sleep at night and you go to bed at 11, you wake up at 7, make sure you maintain that. If you like taking, the occasional nice long hot bath or shower, do that. But it's really important for your sense of control and your sense of efficacy and how much of your own little world you can control to maintain that kind of self-care routine.
Tip number 3, exercise, meditate, jog, walk, dance, move basically. Exercise is amazing at helping us psychologically and physically as well, at becoming happier. I used to be the kind of person that hated exercise, probably still do. There are some days I'm not exactly motivated like my husband is at doing the exercise, but I have really noticed that whenever I do exercise, I am so much happier as well. And that also has an impact in the relationships that you have with people around you.
Yeah, exercise is an interesting one, because apart from the physiological benefits, and that's an important thing to acknowledge, because obviously how you feel within your body is going to affect how you feel about yourself psychologically as well. But apart from that, if you think about when you have done exercise, it's one of those things that's really hardwired into you psychologically. It's hard not to feel a sense of achievement and a bit better about yourself after you've had a bit of exercise, basically. And when you are feeling a bit down, it's one of the simplest and most effective things you can do. Just get up and move, basically. And apart from that, I think it's one of those things where it's about doing something that is meaningful and that can have effects, which you notice fairly quickly, which contributes to, again, that sense of self-efficacy and the amount of control you have about yourself and your immediate environment.
Tip number 4, practice gratitude daily, because it helps change your perspective about things. We tend to notice all the things that are negative around us rather than positive ones. Research indicates that if you write down 3 things that you're grateful for daily, you'll become happier as well.
Yeah, and if you want an example of how this works, if you think about the things that most come readily to mind, they tend to be when things haven't gone to plan or have gone a bit wrong or have caused you a bit of trouble and strife. And that's because of something called the availability heuristic. And basically what this means is you tend to remember the things that stand out the most and that are most easily accessible to your memory. And, think about it in terms of a news broadcast. If you hear a news broadcast, it will be about the things that have really gone wrong. No one says, that Eliana Penn woke up today and had a nice day and everything went well. That's just not news, is it? And the problem is...
Should be.
Yeah, it should be, yeah. But this is what it's about, though. If you actually make a habit of recognising when things have gone right, even if they're just fairly menial, mundane things, if you recognise and are grateful for when things have gone right, it tends to kind of shift that availability heuristic away from the things that go really badly but are very accessible. Force yourself to remember the things that have gone right, that have gone well for you, that have gone according to plan, and that will tend to affect your perception of what's to come, not just what has been. Mm-hmm. And it will set you up well for, subsequent events, whether they be positive or negative. So it's really important to acknowledge the things that have gone right, even if it seems insignificant, because it just puts your focus back on, accessing the memories that are pleasant rather than, focusing and, ruminating on the things that haven't quite gone according to plan.
Great. I like to practice gratitude first thing in the morning by journaling it down, writing it down. And usually in the evening, I do it with you. The whole expressing of the gratitude and also how great are the things that we do for each other as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, more gratitude the better in that respect.
Great. Tip number 5, focus on creating experiences rather than just spending money on things. Now, experiences age like a fine wine. You'll be able to remember it for many years to come. I do like shopping. I can't really deny that. But it's only a very short-term kind of happiness, a day, and then it's gone. Whereas with experiences, they usually tend to be a bit more social events. And we are social animals, right?
Yeah, it's really important to sort of prioritise experiences, because when you look at the research that's been done on this, and there's a really nice TED talk, and I think it's called something like What Makes for a Happy Life. And that whole talk summarises a very long-term study that was done on a large cohort of people, where the researchers and the research team basically followed them from cradle to the grave almost. And they administered different questionnaires, looked at how satisfied they were with their lives, what their general health was like, how their lives were going, their employment, things like that. And they found out that the biggest determinant with the people's, perception of the satisfaction of their lives was the extent to which they were integrated and accepted within, groups of family and friends and things like that. It wasn't whether they had the latest car or the latest iPhone or anything like that. These things tend to provide transient pleasure, but the things that give meaning to our life and the things that bring us the most stable happiness over the longest period are our social relationships. And the best way to cultivate those is, experiences.
Brilliant. Thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed today's talk. We certainly did. Let us know in the comments below if there's any other topics you'd like us to cover. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I also put post details below as well. And do join me in my other community family out there on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. See you guys soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.